In today's video, I'm going to be covering why I stopped taking the famous smart drug and nootropic Modafinil, some of the benefits that I found when I was taking it, some of the drawbacks, and ultimately why I stopped taking it and some of the recommendations I have for people that are considering taking it. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name's Oliver Anwar. I help high performers and entrepreneurs optimize their health, fitness, and performance so they can look great, feel great, and be great. So if you're new here, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe as well, and let's dive straight into today's video.
I don't make a sound when I stray. You better just run for your life.
So I started taking Modafinil back in 2020 when I began running my business full time. And I took it for a period of around sort of 3 to 6 months. And the main reason was to just increase overall output and productivity. So I think I was taking around 200 milligrams per day in the pill form. So firstly, what is Modafinil? Modafinil is a prescriptive drug that is given to people to combat things such as excessive fatigue and sleepiness and drowsiness. Modafinil is very big in places like the military with startup founders, especially tech founders, also professional athletes and politicians. And a big reason as to why kind of people take this is for the reason I mentioned, to combat that sleepiness, to have more energy, to have more focus. For instance, if they're traveling or they're on a tight schedule where they don't get much sleep. And for them, this kind of keeps them going and ensures that they can perform at a higher level. Now, some of the personal benefits that I felt with Modafinil was, number one, it really does beat fatigue. So, when I started to feel tired and drowsy, after I take Modafinil, I never felt that at all. I was able to focus on the task at hand, and it kind of felt like I had tunnel vision when it came to my focus. I was able to just hone in on that one task and get it complete. And it actually didn't matter what task it was, whether it was a mundane task, whether it was a creative task. I was just able to solidly focus without any distractions, which I found to be very useful. Another thing that I found was that it helped me maintain my cognitive performance during periods when I had a bad sleep. So for example, the nights that I would get 4, 5, 6 hours sleep and I was kind of sleep deprived, after taking Modafinil, I was still able to perform cognitively. I was still able to focus, complete those tasks at hand, regardless of how much sleep I have. Another thing that I found is it improved my mood. So each day, if I was kind of feeling low due to whether it was things going on or a lack of sleep, I would kind of feel upbeat and happier, and that helped me execute a lot more on my work. It would also increase my alertness and just general wakefulness. I would just feel on all the time and kind of in flow. If you've ever been in flow when it comes to work, that is exactly what I felt like when I took Modafinil. And it slowly kind of increases your focus. So the more that it kicks in, the deeper you can get into things like your work blocks, into the tasks without kind of any distractions, which I found was really good. It also improved my motivation to work. So after I'd finished my work day, I'd still want to continue doing stuff. So I still want to read a book, or I'd want to continue learning or reading articles online because my mind was on. Another good thing was it reduced kind of any jitters I had. So I was still getting that stimulant effect, but I wasn't getting the jitters of, having a monster and things like that, which I found to be really useful. So how long does it take for Modafinil to kick in? So for me, it took about 30 to 40 minutes for it to kick in. And when I first started taking it, especially for the first time, I felt like this absolute rush that you would get with, I guess, taking any kind of drug from, experiences that people have had. It's kind of like this euphoric rush, and then that kind of intense focus. But after taking it for a while, I actually found that, it was just a slow, intense focus that I would get. Now I want to move on to the negatives of Modafinil, because there are definitely some negatives and generally side effects, because like every drug, there are some side effects and negatives to it. So one of the first things that I definitely realized was my sleep quality got affected the night that I took it. So even though I took the Modafinil before 12 p.m., which is kind of what people recommend, before midday, I would still feel that my sleep at night was impaired a little bit. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night. Falling asleep sometimes was a little bit difficult because I still felt like my brain was on and I was still ready to focus. I definitely think the biggest one was the fact that I had to keep opening my eyes in the middle of the night and keep waking up. It was very kind of fragmented sleep, and that was something that I didn't really enjoy, as I felt the impact the next day. Another side effect that I felt was kind of headaches and dizziness. So especially when the feelings got very intense throughout the course of the afternoon, I definitely felt headaches come on, and when I stood up, I could feel myself be a little bit lightheaded and a little bit dizzy from kind of the effects that I had. Another one that's not so great as well is I was going to the toilet a lot more than expected. So, you know, there was kind of moderate diarrhea with that, which, you know, for me, like, there's no need to have diarrhea unless you're very, very ill, and you should avoid that at all costs. So for me, you know, that was not a good side effect to have, and definitely a negative. Another thing that I found was there was like kind of like this feeling of like nervousness and anxiety because you're so focused on the task. Like, you don't want to talk to anybody else, or you just don't like human interaction. So when like someone would like come up to me in a coffee shop, I just felt very agitated and like very anxious, and that is just definitely not like my personality. I'm a very kind of social extrovert, so it felt weird that I was getting this anxiety for no particular reason. It was really, really weird. And I guess that's from the fact that like it kind of heightens every emotion that you have. So yeah, like whether it's like a bad thing, like that would heighten very much. If it was a good thing, it would heighten very much. It would just like turn up the decibels on the emotions, so you would really feel them in a lot more of a profound manner, if that makes sense. Another thing that I found was I was drinking a lot of water, like way more than I usually do, because my mouth was very dry from taking it. So I was getting some dry mouth with it. The issue that I have with modafinil is that, you know, it's very much used to kind of cover up symptoms of the foundations to a healthy body that you're not looking after. So things such as kind of like sleep, nutrition, hydration, exercise, that kind of stuff. And people trying to take it as a fix when they haven't really like fixed the foundation of the crux of the issue of what was going on. And, you know, taking modafinil when you don't have these foundations, you know, in place is essentially like turning off the lights in a dirty bedroom, right? It temporarily solves the problem, but when you turn that light back on, you know, the problem still persists. So a big reason why I stopped taking it was because I started to feel that I was much more reliant on it than usual, because I was wanting to chase this high of more focus, and my sleep was being more poor, and for me to feel like I could be productive the next day, I wanted to keep taking it. And with this, I just felt that the side effects kept on going, right? I got more dizziness, I got more diarrhea, you know, I felt that I was more anxious whilst I was on it. And to be honest, it didn't really then kind of improve my outputs at any point, because I was having these side effects which were actually impairing my performance. So my recommendations overall for modafinil is to just focus on your biology and your biochemistry. Ensure that you've got your sleep, your nutrition, your training all nailed down, and also ensure that you've got the right environment to focus. So it's not just the things you put in your body, but, you know, things like where you work, your desk setup, what you have on your desktop, how tidy your room is. Because once you're in the right environment and you've set that up both physically and mentally, what happens is you're able to get the output that you want without the use of modafinil. And this is what I actually found. Once I got off it, I was actually able to focus just as well and actually be even more productive, make more money with my business without kind of taking it, and without those side effects that I mentioned as well. You know, as with anything, you know, do your own research and of course make your own informed decision, but my view is that you don't need it as long as you've got those other foundations in place and you lead a healthy lifestyle that's conducive to optimizing your focus and performance. You will be absolutely fine. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found it useful and beneficial. If you're new here, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as well. And I've actually got another video up here on health, fitness and performance that I think will be really useful for you. So make sure you check this out, and I'll see you in the next video.